Well, here we go again this week. Corrupt Joe Biden making up stories, whether it's because he's just flat out lying or just can't accurately remember things anymore, or maybe a little both. Here's the latest.
At about 1:30, a container ship struck the Francis Scott Key Bridge, which I've been over many, many times commuting from the state of Delaware in our train or by car.
He has done, I don't know if it's similar things, but he's sort of told some stories that don't line up quite like this before.
This bridge had no train line, but this is another one of these sort of weird things where he tries to connect himself to a disaster with some weird made-up personal story.
Yeah, this president has a pattern at this point of either inventing or embellishing stories about his own past.
Why is he lying about things like this?
Yeah, James, I don't know if he's lying or if he's just remembering things wrong. Either way, it's not very presidential.
He did it 3 times in one speech last month alone. He claimed he had witnessed a bridge collapse in Pittsburgh when he actually showed up about 6 hours later. He claimed that his grandfather had died just days before he was born himself at the same hospital. In fact, his grandpa died more than a year before in a different state, not the same hospital. And he also repeated a favorite false story that I and others have debunked over and over again about a supposed conversation with an Amtrak train conductor he was friends with, who was actually deceased at the time the conversation would have had to take place. Previously in his presidency, he claimed at one point he'd been arrested during a civil rights protest when, in other versions of the story, he just said an officer had taken him home from a protest. In fact, he had actually spoken to the rabbi, but never went. And he's made a whole bunch of others, too. He said at one point, Republicans like to bring this up, he said that he used to drive a tractor trailer, he used to drive an 18-wheeler. Never happened. The White House later clarified he used to drive a school bus at one point as a job briefly. School bus, of course, not an 18-wheeler. So whatever his intentions, whether it's, foggy memory about stuff that's going on decades ago or deliberate embellishment, this is an unfortunate pattern that keeps coming up again and again with Joe Biden.
His objective and his commitment is to bring transparency and truth back to government.